Hello, everyone. This is Yonks with REtoken DAO. We are now at our second. Well, we've got a couple people joining, so let's let them in here to our live stream. We've got Poopster joining, and we have, I believe that this is Amy joining as well. Welcome, everybody. I was just getting the live stream going here, so let me switch over to our agenda. Welcome, everybody. We've got myself, Brian Freeman, Crush, Poopster Wilson, Tyler Yonker, and Zoom user. Is that you, Amy, a Zoom user?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Super excited about hopping in here tonight. This is our second working group. I don't know what everybody thought as far as how to move forward. One of the things that I put together here, and this is actually, let me bring up our agenda here. I don't think I really added anything to this. We also have a Google Doc that we're working off of here. Still have found that Google Docs is the best, what do you call it, real-time collaboration tool. So I'm just going to get a screenshot here for our participation. And so, like, one of the things here, I came across a great article, and this was one of the things that I shared in the Discord over here. Here's our thread. I'm going to bring it over real quick into the live stream. So this is a thread, like if you do a search in white paper, you'll probably pretty quickly come across this. And this is the infographic that I thought was really good. And I don't know who else likes infographics, but it's a pretty detailed one. And I really liked, because the thing that I thought was kind of refreshing about this too, is that it wasn't necessarily crypto specific. And I really believe that making this white paper probably less crypto centric and more targeted to the non-crypto native speakers, I think will really increase our opportunity to grow our member base. So I don't know, I'm gonna stop right here, let everybody else chime in some thoughts as far as what you thought about, and then we'll switch gears and share this, what do you call it, this GitHub article that or this draft that I made with the concept that I had. But I'm going to kick it over to Tyler and let Tyler facilitate this little round robin as far as just some open brainstorming, anything that occurred. So we had our last working group on Saturday, and this is now Tuesday. So we had a few days to think about this. So over to you, Tyler.
Okay, thanks. Well, actually, Poopster, are you there and working right now? Is your audio working?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to, if you don't mind, start with you. You probably have the most crypto experience of all of us. So what are your thoughts after our last white paper group? What direction do you think we should go? Thoughts, whatever.
I I wasn't really sure. I've been focused on like treasury management stuff. So I mean, that's been my next goal, is to like get started working on that.
Okay, well, we will keep going then. Crush,
what audiences do you think we should aim at? How are you feeling after the last white paper group? What thoughts do you have?
I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of experience with white papers, so I'm not sure which way to go.
Okay, no problem. Amy, what do you think? Amy, are you there on audio? Okay, Amy might have some problems. And Brian, I know you're new to the community, but I'd love to hear your feedback about technical versus non-technical audiences, content. What would help us attract more professional, non-native, more professional, non-crypto native people, and what would help, or just what are your thoughts on the whole thing and the whole direction we should go?
Yeah, so after our last discussion, I spent some time looking at BitDAO and their light paper, as well as Realty.co as well. And from what I gathered from looking at the resources they had, it's my thoughts that we go in a more general direction. They captured things like governance, the tokenomics, the roadmaps, the direction of the currency as a whole, what the goals are, the mission. And in looking at those, a lot of the information they had was broad so that it could be applicable to a wide variety of groups. So I'm still thinking that casting a wide net with the white paper, and of course it can be scaled down to be a light paper for a more high level summary. But either way, casting a wide net to capture whether that's investors, whether that's real estate people, whichever group, so that they can all take a look at the white paper, understand the project, and be able to make a decision on whether to join the project.
Are you still there, Tyler? Or did we lose you? It looks like Dex.
No, I was. Oh, hey, welcome, Dex. Hey, Dex, just to catch you up, we're just kind of going around the circle and talking about our last white paper group, what direction everybody wants to go, whether it should be aimed at more of a professional but non-crypto class or a crypto native, like really deeply understand kind of dev class, or both. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, feedback, or any other feedback about where we should go. Dax, are you there?
So
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Were you able to get a question?
Sorry, I missed that question. I just go ahead.
Oh, sure.
I'm listening now.
Yeah, so great. So what we were talking about was just what thoughts you had after our last white paper call, particularly the contents of the white paper. Should we aim at a professional but non-crypto group of people, just sort of general professional people, or should we aim at more crypto native? And any other thoughts that you had about where we should go?
I believe, we are at a good starting point. I myself was talking to, friends of mine and so forth. And I think, I'm getting, including myself, the overall idea about, what it entails about, the white paper. Generally, I personally look for four things, again, this is, I just wanted to point out that we are still, kind of like deciding, should we want to like go for a full blown, like a white paper, in terms of like a technical, all kinds of, tokenomics, I guess what I'm trying to say is, we are still, my understanding is based on the last conversation, we are kind of like leaning towards light paper rather than the white paper, because we are still in the, infancy stage at this point. So we are kind of like still kind of deciding as to, what exactly, we will be doing, So, so since we are deciding on that, I think, we're going for the light paper. But as for the white paper, concern, I personally look for like four things. The first one is like a team, team behind the whole project, right? And then the second thing I look for the tokenomics, And then the third thing I look for, the roadmap. Do they have, the project has like a well-defined roadmap. As to on both sides, what will happen if one of the things doesn't succeed? Do we have like a backup plan, like a plan B? Things like that. It should completely, like iron out the entire, structure or roadmap. The fourth thing I would say, overall, presentation, well-defined or structured website, a nice presentation. That's what I would look for, white paper. Sorry, I'm not, I hope I'm trying to answer your question. Yeah.
So valuable.
There are like several projects I've seen. There are good projects I've seen that are like a totally honeypot, a red pool, whatever you call them. I've seen those projects as well. I've seen recently. I've seen one of the projects. It's like similar to like a social, or a charity, kind of like a token project. And they had like a nice, like a well-defined, white paper, nice website, and so forth. But as soon as the project launched, it just they took the money away, and then kind of like a rug pull happened. So, anyways, so considering all those things, there I learned that the team behind the project was not good. At the beginning of the project, they had like so many like a meetups or a call on the club apps and so forth. And at the end, but those folks were nowhere to be found. But anyways, sorry, I'm trying to kind of like going on a tangent right now. But anyway, come back to the white paper. Yes, I agree with the way we are moving forward. But yeah, I kind of like agree with the light paper at this point. So yeah, those are my thoughts at this point. So answer your question.
Yeah, no, that was all super valuable. So back to you, Jason.
I'm trying to decide whether I think I like the software button better, but I like the hardware button better. But anyway, so one of the ideas that I had here, regardless of whether we do a light paper or white paper, and I think the value proposition is the tokenomics aren't really relevant, in my opinion, because we're not having any strategy to distribute a decent amount of our tokens at this point in time. And we've already functionally agreed through our proposal to roadmap our regulation crowdfunding offering for 2022 Q3. And I think one of the things that I really loved, and you brought up some great contributions there, Dax, and thank you everybody that chimed in. And I don't know if Brian, we kicked it over to him, didn't we, Tyler? And I don't know if his audio was working.
I think that might have been yours because I heard him fine. Brian, are you still there?
Yep, I'm there.
Yeah. Did everybody else hear Brian? Or
okay, cool. Well, so going back to the idea that I had here, and this is to like one of the things on this step over here is on this, it's like step number 5 or something like that, mistakes to avoid, lack of adequate research. And one of the things that I was putting forward, and this was really resonating with me, and I don't know if everybody saw the couple tweets that I sent out. I might bring that open. Yeah, let me do that real quick here. So and this was probably not too far on the tail end of our last white paper working group here. I think it's this thread right here that I was doing some tweets on. So was playing around here, and then I did this tagline, the one that we were, and this was over here in our Google Docs that we were playing around with some taglines, and then was going through and did this. And I don't know if anybody has used, and let me make this a little bit bigger on the screen so that people can see this better here. And I don't know if people have used Google Trends, but Google Trends is a very important thing as far as like keyword research and seeing what is really resonating with people. Because what became quickly clear when I did a Google Trends here, looking at residual income versus passive income, you can see here that passive income stomps residual income all day long from a search term. So we really need to be cognizant of this, because at the end of the day, our white paper is functionally a marketing tool for us to communicate our message here and do it in a technical manner. And that's really what the white paper is all about. So,
Jason,
go.
One thing that I think we can differentiate is based on this audience of real estate professionals look at a sale as a major source of income. People that are looking at passive income are investors, bond investors, people that own rental property, that kind of thing. So we could aim those as two different things in these light papers. We could probably just change the opening paragraph and name it both. But yeah, the passive would be people that are not the real estate professional class, and residual would be people that are, and also financial advisors. That's a big term in financial advising too, is the residuals.
Well, and I mean, functionally, in my opinion, they're both the same thing, and I guess that's potentially open for debate, and I don't think it's necessary to debate, but we could include both of the keywords in there. But from a title standpoint, passive income definitely has more search juice. And at the end of the day, I think everybody wants more passive income. And that's really where I think that people obtain freedom, is when they really start having multiple streams of income, where they're not just reliant on like one stream of income, like a job, for example. So that was kind of like going through this. And then this was the one that I liked the best here, because I think the opportunity to lean into this Biddle passive income with real estate for everyone, and then the opportunity to truncate this in a manner like Biddle passive income with real estate. That may be a great podcast, for example. We're talking about launching a podcast here, and we'll probably have more conversations in the coming few days or weeks. I'm cognizant that Thanksgiving is coming up here and all of that, but wanting to see what everybody else is thinking here about this, because this is my number one pick for what we should call this first white paper: Biddle passive income with real estate for everyone. And I think the opportunity to just use that with Biddle passive income with real estate for everyone is just like a social media tagline. Like looking here at REtoken DAO's Twitter, like the opportunity to just make this like this whole thing right here, just say Biddle passive income, for example, and just really, side note, we just hit 100 tweet milestone. So that's awesome. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and let everybody, and if you could facilitate another round robin conversation on that, Tyler, that would be fabulous.
Sure. So, Brian, interesting points. Since you were newer to the community and you found us, what were some of the things that attracted you? Because you're the kind of person that this white paper is looking to attract. So I don't know if you can share anything from a personal standpoint of what kind of was interesting or attractive, so we can kind of capture some of that in the white paper.
Yes, sure. So for everyone's awareness on my background, my day job, I'm a CPA and consultant, and my night job is I'm a realtor, and my wife and I, we've owned several real estate properties, and we've been landlords and done flips and the whole 9 yards. So basically what attracted me here was the opportunity to really build something from the ground up related to real estate, building an organization that gives back to communities. You know, I'm seeing things where I'm reading about community involvement, community development, low income housing. All of that is absolutely fantastic. And I know that attracts a lot of people because they want to know that the things they're investing in, when there's a return on investment, it also has a return on investment for people's lives as well. So both of those things are a strong benefit. Yeah, I'd say those are some of the biggest things. And just really getting to the point of understanding this project, understanding how it works to tokenize real estate. That's something that's absolutely fascinating to me. So those are some of the things that really brought me to this space.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Amy, I don't know if your mic was off or whatever. I don't think you had an opportunity to contribute at the beginning. So what were your thoughts on, well, first of all, are you there? Can you hear me?
I think I'm all for the light paper too, because the way I see it, we are ever evolving and there's technology changes. It feels like every second now, because I'm trying to learn one thing and then a new thing come up already, new thing come up. So yeah, I think it has to be something that is flexible and changeable in time. So if we can make it where the closest that we can make it to what we envision at the moment is the best way to do it. And then we can just change it later on if we need to.
Yeah, that's great. So does anybody, but before we keep going, does anybody else have topics they want to add? Feedback, anything? Okay, so
Yeah.
can I make a suggestion that we start either, oh, sorry, who was that?
The Dax. Sorry, I was going to add one thing in the previous conversation. The one thing that I would like to point out or kind of like concern is that you know, so far I've seen the tokenization or tokens are attached to digital assets, right? Here we're talking about the real properties. So it's totally different ball game. So I strongly suggest that we should seek legal advice. So yeah, I would like to add that to my previous conversation. Yeah. Yeah, and also Yang, that I have a question for you. Yeah, was this a poll on Twitter, or is it like you're trying to like ask?
No, it was just an easy way to see, because like, you know, like this is what would be referred as like more of a long tail search, where it's got like 5 or 6 words, like, you know, because most people when they're doing a search on Google or something are probably just going to be searching for passive income, for example. So the opportunity for us to be cognizant of how people, because, and I've said this before, it's something that we've got here, and this is something that I'm going to continue to say, because right now, until there's a fairly large functional shift in what we are doing here at REtoken. REtoken is what's categorized or known within the crypto space as a media DAO. So that means that our main product is content. Like one of the things that we've already roadmapped for Q1 is a virtual summit where we can really amplify the messaging surrounding, and more importantly, increase the access. Because like the ticket that I went to that Teresa and I won for Vertalo, the Digital Assets and Securities Conference, I think that was like a $1,200 ticket or something like that. It was a great event, and it's something that I would feel that I would have invested in, knowing the quality of information that was presented there, and then most importantly, the opportunity to connect and network in person with people. So that being said, the other thing that we've got on our roadmap, and this is something too, I think that we should potentially increase some of the things on our roadmap. And this is something that I don't want to derail the conversation, but potentially we can bring up. And this is something that I've been having conversations with Mrs. Yonks about. Like, we're still personally looking for equitable, affordable housing here in Colorado, and the opportunity to do more of a dry run as we're building towards our flagship project, Token Town. We do have our founding citizen available at tokentown.net. Side thought, if anybody wants to check that out. Super excited about that. But circling back here to the white paper conversation, the opportunity, like you said, Dax, to have a roadmap communicated within that in another communication manner, because I still really like the roadmap here, and I'm going to bring this. So like, here's our roadmap that we've got on Trello. And the thing that I love about this is it combines text and graphics, and it's a very nice visualization, but white papers are generally more dense on the language instead of the graphics. So anyway, I do really like the idea, and I want to kind of talk about here this thought as far as really beefing up the research. And I think that this is important, whether we do a light paper or a white paper. And like, one of the, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Tyler. She mentioned that we held our clubhouse today. And the thing that we were talking about in the clubhouse was our ambassador programs. Do they work? And this would be a great opportunity to incorporate this as a potential component here. So what am I actually suggesting that we do here? So passive income quest. And I'm gonna step away 1 second. I've got a crying baby girl in the background, so apologies. If you can step in.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so while we're doing this, and I'm driving, so I don't know, Crash, are you in front of your laptop right now?
I'm on mobile.
Okay. Are you in a position where you can take notes on this? Because this is a part where I take notes, but I'm driving.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me get to my
And sorry to drop that on you. Like I said, I normally do this myself, but I am on the road.
Yeah, and
I just want to write down everybody's thoughts. So what I was going to ask was if we can start brainstorming, and this doesn't need to be in order, but a potential table of contents or topics we want to cover in this thing, so we can start knowing where we want to aim the research at. Is everybody okay with that? Is it kind of a brainstorming session?
Let me I got shoved a bottle in baby girl's mouth, so she's quite happy right now. So let me go into more details as far as what the thoughts are on this, and what I was calling it passive income quest 100, because the thoughts are here is I think it should be pretty easy for somebody to reach out to 100 real estate people in a particular MSA. And if you haven't heard of an MSA, it's a metropolitan statistic. So if you like Google search top 50 MSAs or something, there's like a Wikipedia list of the top 50 MSAs. So the beliefs that I have is that a huge future member expansion opportunity we have is with existing real estate agents. And most real estate agents do not receive passive income through their real estate transactions. So a well-executed research initiative can also dual purpose and lead to future REtoken ambassadors in that key MSA. So like when thinking about like a strategy to incorporate like a research component, because this is functionally what this would be for our white paper, and incorporate that and potentially segue into the building out the ambassadors program, because it's entirely possible when we're reaching out to people and talking about the potential of creating passive income. And again, my belief is that real estate people. Now, I might be proven wrong, but that's my understanding of the industry as well. And I think that this would really add some solid weight to a light paper or white paper that we could use for quite a while. So that's
Jason,
kind of go ahead.
So are you asking us to research real estate professionals or interview them, or I'm not sure. I kind of missed what you were talking about with the top 50 MSAs.
Yeah, so the 100 in the top 50. So like somebody that would want to take on this quest item, for example, and I don't know exactly what it looks like to facilitate a research, like whether it's like I could easily envision, and I think I wrote this down here as far as like maybe some initial quest execution. So like in this initial phase, we would develop some operating framework. So it would be like where we would contact real estate agents, whoever would want to own this quest for fulfilling this research initiative would say, okay, well, for this first phase, like we could incentivize this with our REtoken for contacting 10 REs, real estate agents. So like identify REtoken researchers for each MSA. So that would be somebody that would like say, hey, this sounds like exciting. I want to be involved in this research quest. I want to earn more REtokens. So then that person, that REtoken researcher, would contact 10 REs within the selected MSA using whatever input form that we create. And we just so that everybody knows, we've already agreed to utilize airtable.com. And this is an immediate opportunity for people that are interested in data science or anything like that. But this is one of the things that we're like right now, just to provide full transparency, like we're doing all of the KYC, and we call that it's normally within the industry, KYC equals know your customer. And in this case, we don't really have customers, we are a community, and we can easily transpose the C from customer to community. So we still call it KYC, but know your community. And that's being done in a Google Sheet right now. So this is where we're wanting to collect more information about like the kinds of people and then the skills. And anyway, we already had a conversation about that in a previous working group. So, and then like,
hey Jason,
ahead.
before you move on, this is for Brian and Dax. I think you two are the only realtors, or Dax, I think you're a realtor, and if I'm wrong, correct me on that. But where do you guys normally look for information for this? Like if is it newsletters? Is it meetup groups? Is it professional associations or whatever? When you're looking for real estate stuff, where do you go? Because that might be a good place for us to start with.
I can answer that question, then I have another question. Generally for information, that comes directly from the brokerage. So I'm personally with Keller Williams, and Keller Williams is huge on training. And so the information on most topics, I can go straight to the broker. Now, as far as this quest, I'm a little fuzzy on the concept. Is this to recruit people to join the DAO, or is it just to gather information? Could you kind of go through it again?
Yeah, I think that the primary function would be to do this research component. So it's and the reason for calling it a quest is that that's just functionally what the crypto niche is gravitating towards as far as utilizing various opportunities to do stuff. And it's sometimes called a bounty. So either way, like and rabbithole.gg is a great example of that. We also have our social token platform on Coinvice. They have a bounty situation there. So the opportunity of, calling it that, but it would functionally be to fulfill the research component of this. Because again, the belief that I have, and this is one of the problems that we would solve with our real estate tokenization process that we're looking to create is to provide passive income for real estate people that will do these tokenization deals, because it's going to be a very different process doing a real estate tokenization deal versus selling a house as it is known today. And until the regulations more combine on what that looks like, it's still going to be, because at the end of the day, what's important to know is that when a property is tokenized, you're not actually tokenizing the property, you're tokenizing a SPV, a special purpose vehicle. Functionally, it's a business entity that you would be tokenizing, and then that business entity acquires the real estate. So depending on what that looks like as far as transitioning the real estate from its current situation, and if it's already owned by the LLC or some type of entity, where it's already got an SPV in place. So anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But this, to answer your question, Brian, would be to facilitate the research, because imagine how powerful that would be if we executed fully on this 100 by 50. That would be us having a research component of reaching out to 5,000 real estate agents, and then when we polled 5,000 real estate agents, only 4% of them currently have some type of residual income situation or passive income in the way that their deals are architected today. So again, that's, I think, one of the value propositions of our real estate tokenization. The other is that we want to increase the access for non-accredited, just regular Jane or John Doe to participate in these opportunities. And we're looking to do that through regulation crowdfunding. So again, does that provide the clarity that you were looking for on that, Brian?
It helps some. So the data on the number of realtors with passive income is going to feed into the overall white paper strategy, or I guess what's the end goal with that data collection?
So I don't know if it would necessarily be just an end goal, but one of the things is that that could be a key component of the research that substantiates the thesis and the problem that we're solving here with REtoken. And where that would go, and I don't know if that would really be, because I think the opportunity to facilitate, because when you're having these types of conversations, most people want more passive income. So the opportunity for this research initiative to also directly correspond to membership growth, I would be shocked if this didn't translate to direct member growth as well, this research initiative.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
Always, Amy.
Okay, with this passive income that you're talking about, where will just explain it a bit, because I'm not a realtor. Where would the money be coming from to give to them passively? Is it in the mortgage of the property? Part of it goes to them? Or how will you generate that passive income?
So with the tokenized situation, I anticipate that there probably won't even be a mortgage component, because this functionally would replace that. Now, that would depend largely, and I don't want to make any generalizations, because that's a case by case, because a lot of the times mortgages, depending on what you can qualify for, are very low interest rates. So that's, again, it'd be a case by case. But through the smart contracts, the opportunity to program, like where there would be a 3% transaction charge or whatever when the security token gets exchanged, where a percentage of that would go to like the person that put the deal together, the real estate professional, or the fractionalized real estate professional, or whatever, that we end up calling our certificate program people. So that would be where, and that's one of the reasons that have brought forward like the impact investing, like Triple Win Foundation and For Christ DAO, because we're wanting to get that in place, because that's another thing that we are wanting to architect into deals that Tyler and I are doing, an opportunity, same type of deal where it can fund foundations that we're passionate about through an impact investing component. So that's where that the passive income would come through, is the way that we would create the smart contracts for the security tokens.
Okay, in that effect, if I want this property, just walk me through this. And I put it in our program. I don't need to pay mortgage at all. I don't need to pay rent because it's tokenized. I'll just have to pick and choose which property I want. Just walk me through it.
So like in the crypto house example that we were talking about, doing a proof of concept for, what we're looking to do there is, I don't believe that like housing, like accommodations, that's functionally a commodity where like one bedroom is worth, you know, various amounts depending on where you're staying and the kind of accommodations that are being provided. And like through the proliferation of a platform like Airbnb, that's even raised it to another level of commodity. So like, I don't necessarily believe that housing should be a, you know, a free situation, but like to paint a picture of that, you know, so it depends on what you're tokenizing. So just to keep an example very, very simple. So like, 4-bedroom house. So Mrs. Yonks and I, we want 2 bedrooms, and then like we're looking to have one housemate in this co-op. So the co-op would own the house, and then we would have, and this is like from a functionality standpoint, one of the things that we're wanting to create that we've very, very preliminary started having some conversations about, because is to create what we're calling a co-op housing NFT. And that's where we're going to facilitate that conversation through a sister DAO, Our Home Co-op. So like in a situation here, you know, fair market value for a 2-bedroom situation is anywhere from you know, $1,750 to $2,500 or up. I mean, like when we had our downtown space in Lodo, Denver, and we've had our stuff in storage since we pulled out of that last Halloween 2020, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment up on the 17th floor. It was a fabulous, like 2 master bedrooms, like you imagine a picture of Denver, Colorado. That was our view, but it was $4,000 a month. So like in that, going back to this 4-bedroom scenario, like in a co-op housing NFT, like us paying $1,750 and say, okay, for our 2 bedrooms, we're going to pay $1,750. And then we want a housemate that will pay, you know, maybe $1,000 a month. So that co-op housing NFT would functionally represent $2,750 of cash flow. So that could be, you know, going back to the tokenization situation, that would be where, you know, that would through that NFT. And then we had one other bedroom, but anyway, you know, so that's going to be what that dynamic looks like, is on a case by case basis as far as the co-op housing, and or, you know, or whatever situation is being tokenized. And I think that that's one of the reasons that tokenization hasn't really hit critical mass yet. Well, there's a couple. I mean, there's the securities regulation standpoint, the technology. I really think 2022 is going to be, and I mean, we're definitely going to be a catalyst for driving those conversations. So, and I don't know if that really helps to answer your question. Like one of the things that we're wanting to create, Amy, is a shared equity appreciation model. And then the other fabulous thing, like with Token Town, like where we're talking about combining the accommodations along with Bitcoin mining and crypto mining operations to further drive the narrative of more affordable housing for those residents. So, you know, that and the smart contracts will facilitate this in the operations to make it easy to have hundreds or thousands of investors, aka token holders, in these fractionalized, more than likely regulation crowdfunding, because that's the best as far as accessible securities regulation that is easiest to deploy. So does that
Jason.
provide some clarity, Amy?
I have, it's still a little blurry for me because if I am a customer and I want to go in the program, you said I will not have mortgage, right? But I'm paying something. So is that rent?
Well, that's open for like in the co-op housing world. So like cooperative housing here in the US is like New York, for example. A lot of apartments in New York are co-op housing. I think it's like 75% or something like that. But so in the co-op housing world, they actually call it carrying charges. So whether you want to call it rent or whether you want to call it like in that co-op housing NFT scenario where Tyler and I, for our 2-bedroom space, we're talking about, you know, saying 1750 or whatever number that we agree to for that particular space. So, you know, or like having a housemate that would have 1 bedroom for $1,000 a month. Now, what you want to call that, you know, that's it. It's a label. Most people call it rent, you know, or a mortgage payment, or in the co-op housing world, it's called a carrying charge, you know. And then the opportunity, like in a co-op housing situation where you've got other assets, like the digital assets that will be generated through the Bitcoin and crypto mining operations to make the housing more affordable. And then like the 4th bedroom that I didn't talk about there is another revenue source for that particular Token Town house would be, you know, like we could easily see probably depending on where it was at, $1,000 or $2,000 a month of revenue for that one additional bedroom. So you bundle that all together, and then, you know, over time, you know, and depending on what it looks like. So like, and this is why, like, not going into the specifics within this technical document, because we haven't finalized like who that we are going to be using for like the broker dealer, the regulation crowdfunding platform. That's who would be the SEC or FINRA registered crowdfunding platform, Reg CF. And then like the other important aspect, at least initially, for the issuing of digital assets and security tokens is the registered transfer agent. And that's who provides the recognized chain of custody, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, SEC and FINRA do not recognize the public blockchain as a legitimate chain of custody here in 2021. So there's another SEC FINRA registered or designation that's called the registered transfer agent. So, you know, and then like the opportunity, we're looking to build Token Town, Colorado in an opportunity zone and obtaining funds through a qualified opportunity fund. They're wondering, what is my exit strategy in 10 years? So the opportunity of potentially doing a slice of the capital stack through regulation or through a qualified opportunity funds. So, and that's, you know, right now, we're not in a place where we can go into the depth on all of this stuff. And the opportunity to have multiple versions of the white paper, like one of the other tokenized platform providers for real estate in the space, and this is one of the things that we had over here on, and let me make this a little bit bigger here so that everybody can see it. And this was one of the things that we spoke about. And I think that Brian was talking about looking at the Realty.co white paper. And that was over here when we were talking about some white papers as far as related to us right now. BitDAO has a light paper. I'm personally going through an ambassador program with BitDAO to kind of have a better understanding of what they've, and that's a well endowed from a funds standpoint startup DAO that's just getting started. Tokeny.com, they have the white paper here on security tokens, and this is a great opportunity because we might want to use this ERC 3643 on Polygon, for example, because the transaction costs are substantially less on Polygon. And anyway, this is the Realty white paper. And where I was going with this, you can see here V3. So the opportunity of updating and making a version change over time as circumstances change and evolve with our community is definitely there as well.
Okay, so I guess I need to just clarify one more thing. Who owns the property? REtoken DAO, Colorado, or the person that wants
No,
to stay in the property?
That's a great question. So the SPV, the special purpose vehicle. So anytime that a tokenized or anytime that a deal will be tokenized, it will be owned by a business entity, and then that business entity is what you're tokenizing. So like functionally on, and most of the time it'll probably be done through an LLC. So like on the operating agreement for the LLC, it would say that like one token of 123 Main Street equals one share of this legal entity. And like, you know, how the Wyoming DAO law allows it to be algorithmically managed, the opportunity for it to potentially be, you know, algorithmically managed, or, you know, and that's the thing that we haven't finalized on what the process will look like. And, you know, the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, isn't just tokenizing more of the same stuff. Like that Realty.co is so, sorry, let's see how she does it in her little bouncy here. So Realty.co is they are tokenizing rental properties, and like I think that one of the unique opportunities is to functionally transition. Like one of the big trends is triple net leases, and that's where the tenants pay all of the situations. I'm more of a fan of co-op housing, and hold on one second. So the opportunity of creating more unique situations, I think, is really where we're going to see the huge opportunity, in my opinion. Like with the Our Home Co-op and creating a vehicle that makes it easier for co-op housing to exist and scale. Like most of the co-op, like one of the there was an energy deep dive at the National Association of Housing Cooperatives. I was just at their conference in Tampa, Florida here a couple of weeks ago. And in that particular community, the wait list for a 2-bedroom apartment in that co-op housing situation was 2 years. So most of the things that Tyler and I have seen, and most of the time it's that people aren't even aware because there's not that much co-op housing opportunities. And when you think about cooperative housing, it's being done a lot anyway through a roommate dynamic. People are very often looking for roommate, and this is one of the unique opportunities that we have, like with technology, like with the co-op housing NFT. Now imagine what kind of a pipeline that having a co-op housing NFT through that sister DAO, and we're creating the technology facilitation, and then we've got this tokenization situation that completely changes the entire capital stack process. And you know, if people are already like on board and in this co-op housing NFT, the opportunity to provide a vehicle for tokenizing it there. So that's kind of, I think, the unique value proposition with delivering a value proposition, and imagine the network effect that we can have when we have thousands of tokenized properties. And I can't remember, there was somebody in the Discord that was talking about, he was one of the newer, I think it was the Return, or anyway, somebody was talking about wanting to, in the Bahamas, create an opportunity, for Airbnb or VRBO. And that's the kind of thing where you can really get some amazing network effects, where through thousands of tokenized, like tokenized properties, we could absolutely have a network effect where we could potentially, be an alternate solution for Airbnb, for example. So that's, we've got to do a lot of stuff before that's even a thought or consideration, but it's a possibility for sure.
Just to chime in, we've got a couple comments coming out from YouTube from Miss Teresa Kennedy. If you want to take a look at those, she got a lot of feedback on the conversation.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she didn't pop in the Zoom. She got an email with that and calendar invite, so she's welcome to join the Zoom. And I'm trying to see, like, thank you for let me see if I can open it. But if you wanted to read it, Brian, go ahead. But Teresa is welcome to hop on the Zoom here.
Yes, it's mainly a lot of comments, no particular question, but it's dating back from, maybe 30 minutes ago in the conversation. It's just a lot. So no particular comment to be read, just a collection of things to consider.
Let me see, because I don't think I've got her added to the Google Doc for that. Let me send her invite as well so that she can put that in there as well. So any more thoughts on the research initiative, that creating that type of a quest? Is that something that, do you think that would be a solid value proposition from a research?
Are we trying
I
to?
think-
Oh, go ahead.
I think if you're trying to sell this research to the realtors, they of course wanted to get an in-depth idea of what will entail for them to have a passive income. That's why I asked those questions. This is something new to them. I've had the ability to buy homes before, and I was like, how can a realtor tell a customer? You have to walk them through this. It's like a training. How will they tell them, okay, we'll be in this tokenized property and you'll be paying monthly, but you'll never own the property. You know what I mean? How can they
Hey, Amy.
transfer that idea?
Oh, hey, let me take this one. So,
Okay.
there's a couple things. When you are the tenant or the resident or whatever we're going to call these people, you don't necessarily have to be a token holder. If you're a token holder and you're a resident, then you buy the tokens and then you're paying rent to the entity, and then your tokens get distribution. So the more tokens you own, the more of a distribution that you get back. So it wouldn't be that you don't own it. It would be that you pay rent and then you're getting it back in distributions. And if that was something that the co-op decided that they just wanted to retire the tokens, then we could work something out in the smart contract that says after so much return or whatever terms, I don't want to get into that right now, but then they could just get traditional mortgages, just buy out all the tokens and close down the company. So there wouldn't be that this thing would have to exist in perpetuity forever. But I think that as people get used to the idea of I can either buy tokens and pay it and get it back, then I think that that's going to be something that's really interesting to them. And then if we end up with these crypto mines that the house buys, or the entity buys for the house, starts generating crypto, then that could be something that we could either use to stabilize rent or upgrade the property or whatever. And that could be something that could offset. That's the affordable housing component, is using the crypto mines as a pool of money that makes the house more valuable, or the tokens have bigger distributions or whatever, but something positive for everybody.
And I don't necessarily think that we have to have the answer for this, because the function of this research effort is to put some real numbers behind a research effort that we would be conducting to facilitate the data point for this light paper or white paper that we would be creating. So it's not that we have this passive income opportunity in place today. That's what we're building here. And that's, again, like, I think the power of that BIDL passive income with real estate for everyone is that this is something that we're working towards, and the opportunity, like, for, you know, real estate agents to be owner operators in this DAO that we're creating is pretty exciting. And, you know, because a lot of unless they're independent, and then, you know, like, just that the opportunities, I think, don't exist as far as the way that real estate deals are structured today. And this is, again, and that's like providing those types of answers, you know, as we're working for developing the process. I don't think that we need to have the answers now. This is what we're working towards creating here with the REtoken. And wanted to welcome, I saw that Teresa joined us. Is she still, I don't know if she, I saw one number go down. So I'm not seeing her right now, but I saw her pop in. So anyway, does that make sense, Amy, as far as, like, for this effort specifically, you know? And, like, one of the things that while if this is something that people could see value in, that we want to have more conversations about finalizing. And, like, one of the things that I thought about here, you know, like this first phase would be like phase one, like, and then after we see if this is something that we want to continue to pursue while we're working towards, like, you know, contacting potentially 100, because if we execute this in full, 100 contacts within 50 MSAs, that would again be 5,000 people that we would have contacted to execute this research initiative, as far as providing a solid numbers standpoint. And if there's such a research, I've said repeatedly and will say again, I'm not a fan of reinventing the wheel, but this isn't something that I saw in this particular manner that was delved into from this research angle.
I think if you have a link to the quest, it's very easy to like promote it in a group of realtors in Clubhouse, and just we'll just tell them we just need some insight from them. There's really nothing, you know, that they have to worry about or anything like that. But we would know if it's a positive reaction or a negative reaction. I guess anything new to them, like, you know, I'm still formulating this idea in my mind. Anything new to them, they might have, you know, the negative reaction, but after they understand it a little bit more. And I guess the quest should address that. It should explain some things to them that is also pertinent on the research.
Yeah, and that's I think the opportunity of this type of a dynamic, Amy, is that there's multiple ways that we can execute or fulfill this. I mean, like, that's one type of approach where, you know, you would just be potentially broadcasting it. And, you know, this is also something that I could easily see that I mean, I personally would have no problem personally contacting like 10 people here in, you know, some of the MSAs that we're interested in, like obviously Denver, and then Northern Colorado, which is functionally separate from Denver, and then like Columbus, Ohio is an MSA that Tyler and I are interested in. I have no personal problem like reaching out to people and personally, because I think the opportunity again for this to be a strong strategic aspect. And then, you know, the other thing is that we could also, like what you were advocating there, of where you might have a platform like with Clubhouse with social audio, because I do know that real estate conversations are very rampant. I mean, I was on Clubhouse for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 hours this morning. And it was fun hanging out with Tyler and Amy. And then we had a new person in there. Teresa joined us for the second half of the Clubhouse room today. So that's another, you know, and where we could create a web page, you know, like this, that had like potentially an explainer video, like a 3 to 5 minute video to talk about what we're doing here. So the opportunity for this to be positioned very well. And, you know, like the thing that's fabulous about this, again, like maybe this research initiative could potentially be a light paper or white paper version 2. Like we could commit, because this is one of the things I advocated during our previous working group. We owe it to ourselves and to the community to get something finished here in 2021 prior to the end of the year. I really like, you know, picking a target date, like, you know, today is November 16th. Maybe we say December 16th, we want to have version 1 of this REtoken light paper or white paper. And whether we decide to call it, I really like calling it BIDL, passive income with real estate for everyone. And I really think if we lean into BIDL passive income or BIDL passive income with real estate, or the whole thing, and just all of our content, we can own that and then have a huge opportunity to really like dig into this as far as explaining what this is, because there's a lot of crypto culture. And this is the thing that will allow us to effectively bridge and provide a solid information base to the crypto community and the existing real estate professionals, agents, investors. I mean, it's a pretty large bubble of various real estate people. So, and this is something that I'm personally committed to, like having more. Like Tyler and I currently host a meetup group, although it's mostly online. I don't think I've remembered to get the meetup room for this white paper group, but anyway, that's another conversation. So I've been rambling a little bit here, but that's kind of the thoughts, is that I like this idea. I couldn't hear what you. Sorry, Siri, I wasn't wanting to talk to you. So anyway, I'm gonna mute and let somebody else chime in here.
So for the white paper, do we need to get this research done before, or these are people that we're going to write the white paper and then ask them to do an interview with us or whatever after it's done?
I think that we need to make a decision, and it's not something that I'm absolutely not expecting us to make a decision tonight. This is something that I wanted to bring it forward. We can bring it up at the community call on Wednesday. Then we can bring it up again at the core team call on Sunday. And I think that we just need to make a decision on if we're going to go do this. And, you know, I'm open for ideas. If we want to call it the passive income quest, I called it the pick 100 here, just a fun thing. And just make it, if that's going to be a decision that we make, because I have no problem, because like really executing on this well may take some time, but I think that this, and as everybody can probably pretty clearly see, I'm taking a long-term approach here, you know, with a lot of the strategy being very intentional about crossing the T's and dotting the I's from a security regulation standpoint, because I think doing those better steps will allow us to really ride what we believe is going to be some explosives. So that's kind of what I think would make the most sense as far as bringing this notion forward. And then like, we could if we wanted to put this forward, like with the temp check in Discord to that's kind of a good thought there. And then, we could move that forward, because this is something, that could potentially have a fairly substantial over time REtoken payout for the community for putting this in place, as far as developing the framework to facilitate this. But this is also something that, while we're looking at developing collateral like our database, for example, the opportunity of, increasing our database. And then also, like, one of the things that we've spoken a little bit about, and this is something that I'm going to bring up probably again at both the community call and the core team call, is really taking our marketing efforts to another level, like with email marketing tool like MailChimp. And that's something that we've had some brief conversations about. And really, I think that now's a good time to move forward. I mean, we spoke today again about Mighty Networks, and that's another tool, like when we're putting some of this tooling in place to really elevate the professionalism of the community and the organization that we're creating here, makes a lot of sense here. So that's kind of, I think, the direction that I'm really liking for this. And I don't think that we necessarily need to have it finalized. And that's the thing, like displaying the information over time too, because like collecting 5,000 input points from real estate agents across 50 key US MSAs, I'm not necessarily expecting that will happen instantly. So especially if we're looking to have a finalized version 1 of our light paper by middle of December, which is I think I like that idea as well. So I'm going to stop talking again. I do all the talking here. I love hearing other people's inputs.
So let me jump in here. How many of you guys would be interested in doing some of these research interviews and reaching out to your networks or just realtors that in your communities or in other communities? And do we just want to do a per city deal, or do we just want to set up an Airtable where you just tag the realtor or you tag the city that the realtor's in?
Well, I think what we just need to let this marinate, and like right now we're hour and 15 minutes into this 2-hour working group, and I don't necessarily think that and I don't want to make a decision here. So I think that we just need to decide and let this kind of sink in with everybody as far as what this may look like, and then have this be a future conversation, because with some of the other stuff, and I'm thinking right now it's Tuesday of this week, and like I don't know if we want to talk about. I would like to circle back as far as getting some framework in, and I don't know if we want to make a decision on light paper versus white paper right now, but I think that we should just let this passive income quest kind of resonate with people, and then we'll talk about it here again on our next very, very briefly, just to kind of put it out there. And one of the things, and I am going to go on this tangent too, because I have been making some updates to the YouTube channel, and this content here is going to not only YouTube, but I think most people know that YouTube is the primary video consumption, because YouTube, true story, is the second largest search engine on the internet, Google owned, and Google is the first. So this is something that I updated here, like right now, just this is the main channel landing page, and I've been working on breaking some of our content into featured REtoken playlists. And this is kind of an update that I made here to make it easier for people to navigate the increasing amount of content that we're creating there. So I know that was a tangent, and to bring it back to the white paper conversation, did I get everybody? Let me ask this, because I had a next action from working group number 1. Did I get everybody added to the Git book? Because that was a decision that we already made, that we are going to put our white paper, light paper here on the REtoken docs page. So did everybody get this that needed an invite, that's been participating? I don't know if I got you one, Brian, but if you want to participate in contributing to the content here, send me your email address, Brian.
Brian, do you have a Gitbook account or GitHub account?
Yeah, I'll shoot you my email. I'd have to create an account.
Are you familiar with what that platform is?
I've only looked at it just from our conversation, so I'm vaguely familiar there.
Yeah, so it uses GitHub is integrated, or Gitbook is integrated with GitHub. So I think the easiest way is to sign up. This is my personal profile on GitHub. And this is one of the things that probably maybe have some side at some point in time, and this is something that I'm still working on updating myself a little bit, is making my own GitHub page be a little bit more polished. But yeah, so if anybody that's on here wants to actively contribute to Gitbook, this is where we're looking at putting our white
Hey, Jason,
paper.
can you add Michael into the Zoom?
Oh yeah, is there somebody? I don't know if he has the Zoom link. Let me. Does he need the Zoom link?
Just said I just got emailed that said he just joined the meeting, so I think he's in the waiting room.
I'm not seeing anybody in the waiting room. I don't know if you can see the participants or this little thing, but
I'll send him a DM.
Yeah, make sure he's got the Zoom link. But I don't see anybody in the waiting room right now.
Hey, quick tangent. I have to drop because I've got family visiting, visiting our 2-month-old. But Yonks, I know we talked offline around Coordinate and oh shoot, the other app is SourceCred. Yep, looked into both of those. Looking to get involved there. As I mentioned before, I have limited bandwidth with the day job and the young one, but I'd like to talk to you offline about those 2 things and see how I can help with those. But I'll send you a message about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to your participation here, Brian. But yeah, that'd be great. Looking forward to especially me, because most of the airdrops administration lands on my plate right now. So looking forward to having some more tooling. And here we're going to be having a KPI options from UMA project to incentivize voter turnout. We've had some conversations already about superfluid. So tooling is always conversational right now, especially while we're laying this initial foundation for REtoken, the real estate DAO. And welcome, Michael. I saw you pop in here. So we were just talking about Gitbook to see if everybody that wanted to potentially participate from a content contribution standpoint. And this is something that we'll probably have a working group while we're working, because a content team, and since Brian mentioned Coordinate, and I'm not gonna go off on the Coordinate tangent, but we agreed here again that we're going to use Gitbook for our light paper or white paper, and I don't know if we want to make a decision here if we're just going to focus on a light paper. One of the things that we had some initial conversation just to bring you up to speed about was this passive income quest. I'll share a link. I don't think that I did that in the chat, but putting that in here. And this is something that we're going to talk about again on the community call on Wednesday, where we go live at 7:15 Eastern time. And then our core team call on Sunday, we go live on that at 3:15 Eastern time, Sunday afternoon. So we'll talk about those 2 things. And then I'm going to create a temp check in Discord to kick off this conversation, because if we do move this forward, this will have potentially a fairly large REtoken payout to the participants that help to execute this research initiative. And I was thinking that this data might not be a component for like a version 1 of our light paper. And this is something that we could potentially talk about in a version 1 of our light paper, with the expectation of, maybe having this in a version 2, maybe like just thinking out loud here from a versioning standpoint, maybe do like a version 2 in March of 2022, for example. I like timelines, putting things on the roadmap. And, that's the thing that I found is that when you set expectations with people and then you meet those expectations and you do that time and time again, people love you. It's when you set expectations that you fail to deliver on that they hate you. And that's one of the things that we will try to do very well, is set expectations here and then meet or exceed those expectations. And I think that we can communicate that within our white paper. And that's the tool that we have, that we've talked about our roadmap. Dax mentioned his thoughts as far as the importance that a roadmap plays. And this is something here that we can and should be contemplating, because the opportunity to, I really like the graphical representation that the Trello roadmap, the visual aspects that this provides, but the opportunity to communicate these same elements in the written word through our white paper is very much there as well. So I wanted to turn the mic over to you, Michael. I wanted to hear, like, one of the things that we started out with earlier was just reflecting on the direction, and I kind of brought you up to speed as far as what we've talked about here. So over to you, Michael. Welcome tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Me, Michael, right? We don't have another Michael. Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, everything seems like it's coming together a lot more. I mean, I feel like this is a much better, I feel like we're ready to almost now completely start writing the white paper, because we've got a lot more drafted out of what the components actually are. I was gonna turn my camera on, but I would have to shift things around real fast to do that. But yeah, so I think it's looking a lot better, and then just a lot stronger is what I mean by that. It's everything's looking a lot stronger and designed a little bit more. As far as the tooling goes, I was looking in just some different things too. Yeah, as we add tools, I think we could just build that part out later. I feel like this is almost really set, and if anything, I think we should, if you want, the light paper might be the best option for us first, just because we haven't integrated all those types of tooling, or different types of tooling yet, and came up with an ecosystem as far as that goes. And I kind of wanted to apologize too, because last week, the way I was thinking of it is, I don't know if you wanted to try to go for this with some of what we're doing, but I figured what we're building with the tooling in itself could be a marketable platform or a service that we provide to other real estate people, that the ability for them to pick up something in our ecosystem and kind of reuse it. So that's kind of the perspective I was coming at with the white paper. But now that this is all down, I see how this is working a lot more.
Appreciate that, and wanted to welcome Rosetta to our white paper working group. So we just did a brief recap there, Rosetta, so not going to go through that again. But one of the things, and this is something that I didn't recap that I'm going to talk about, because this is something that I'm really liking, is this BIDL passive income with real estate for everyone. I think most people that truly understand passive income want to have more passive income. And I think that that's probably carries even more significance, because at the end of the day, real estate has already been a time-proven vehicle, especially for real estate investors. And I think one of the opportunities for us to create passive income for what we're creating here, and things may look, and I anticipate that they'll look very different a year from now when we have tokenized potentially multiple opportunities. And then when we're also, potentially concluded our own regulation crowdfunding, where we could do maybe a version 3, or maybe even do a more detailed white paper. And one of the things that we spoke about here previously, and I really like this too, because one of the things that I am going to talk about is that we are functionally here. REtoken is currently a media DAO. Our main product right now is content. And until the foreseeable future, that may not change. Now, things can change after we have a solid revenue base, like assuming that we have a solid revenue base from our virtual summit that we're planning on executing in our roadmap for 2022 Q1. And then, like, I anticipate that our certificate program that we will be developing will also be a solid revenue base for our community. And then the opportunity to, as we get more experience and have a better understanding when we're dealing with other partners like registered broker dealers for our crowdfunding opportunities, or other ways that we're looking to create things. So wanted to give you, Rosetta, the opportunity to chime in here if you wanted to, as far as the white paper conversation. I don't know if you wanted to share your thoughts as far as how that we, REtoken, the real estate DAO, should position, whether we should do a light paper or a white paper. But over to you, Rosetta. Welcome tonight.
Thank you. Apologies for not being able to jump in at the very beginning. I am a solo agent, so still working. And as you know, on Sundays and Saturdays, Sundays and evenings are the time that I work with residential clients. So as far as the white paper is concerned, I was really interested in the comments that were made earlier. I was on the YouTube, but I too am getting a better understanding of the direction, and just looking to hear more and see. At this point, I don't feel that I have a good enough handle on the concept and the direction in order to make any contribution at this time, but just really think you all are doing a great job, and wherever I can and when I'm able to contribute, I will.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's always valuable to have a real estate professional's perspective. And that's one of the things that we really believe, especially myself, is the huge opportunity as far as us being able, the community here, to create the opportunity for real estate people that really see the opportunity that this technology provides to position themselves as experts in a quickly changing space. And things move very fast here in the crypto world. So, and the technology changes quickly. Like, one of the things that we've spoken about a couple times, and this is something that we itemized during our planning call, of some white papers that are of interest. And this is the one that I'm talking about again, this tokeny, this one, this ERC 3643. I think that the Ethereum community just put that forward September. So, like, that's, just a couple of months ago. And so the opportunity of, exploring that and, potentially incorporating that from a technology standpoint. And the real estate tokenization space is still so new. So the other thing here, and do you want me to go ahead, Rosetta? Do you want to contribute any thoughts from a content standpoint on the Google Doc that we're collaborating on here? Because if you do, I can send you an invite where you can be a contributor here to this.
Hey, Rosetta, we're super interested in your point of view as a realtor. What content is the most interesting, appealing? How do we get more people from that community to check this thing out. So those are some things that the areas where you are an expert, I think it's super valuable. So just wanted to invite you on that.
Oh, I really appreciate that. And one of the things I'm just starting to do, as Jason knows, Teresa and I are involved with Proppy, and Teresa already has her certification, and I am using on this listing I just staged, and it will be going live this week. It will be on the Proppy .com platform. So they, as you may know, they too are opening up their platform to real estate agents to actually list and carry forth the transactions and offer and allow those who are interested to purchase properties using cryptocurrency. And we can also register those properties, the deeds, on the on blockchain. So I am really excited to be a part of this group. I have not had the time to focus. I really don't feel right now that I'm in a position to contribute, but but looking forward to it.
Well, and perhaps too, because the conversations as far as Proppy, I mean, like again, the big value proposition that I see is that we have the opportunity of creating a lot of content. So the opportunity, like for you that's actively engaging in like Proppy, for example, and sharing the experience and how that's helping your profession. And the more that we can, just create community or content that answers people, real estate professionals questions and stuff. And like, that's a lens that we don't have. I don't know if there's really a whole lot of people that are actively doing real estate deals on a day-to-day basis that are actively contributing. So would love to hear how that we can be respectful of your time, but then potentially, make it easy for you to share your experience in a manner that we can share to the larger community, because that's the biggest opportunity that we have here through this collaborative community, is to learn together faster and what's working, what's not working, and just level up our game so that we can be positioned to dominate in 2022 and beyond.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
By the way, Rosetta, most of us, other than of our team, most of us do not have technical dev or other backgrounds. Some people do, most of us do not. Most of us are fairly new to crypto also. So if you're feeling a little bit behind, we're not that much further ahead of you. So you are more than welcome to jump in with us and learn, and don't feel intimidated like everybody's been doing this for years, because most of us haven't. A couple people have, but most of us have not.
Oh, that is great to know. Because it is a bit, I am not that versed. We do have, as a benefit of being an EXP agent, we have training sessions, and Piper Mariotti, she teaches a cryptocurrency class for us, and that's been really helpful. And I think you will see more agents, real estate agents who will be knowledgeable of this space. And as AEXP grows, we're already over 65,000 agents. So in terms of building this community, there at one of the meetings that you spoke about the ambassadors program, or just getting others to just getting the word out about what we're doing. So I'm waiting to see if there's an opportunity for me to be able to work in that space as well.
Well, we were just talking about a massive outreach to real estate professionals and realtors. So if that's something that you want to do, or if you're connected in any of those professional associations, that's a really easy way for you to expand your network and also, oops, sorry, screaming baby, and also earn a lot of REtoken at the same time. If you have any interest in that, it's a project I think we were talking about right before you jumped on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
And we are committed to, like, one of the things that we've spoke very, very briefly about and have spoken is that we are very aware of the learning curve around Discord, and that's one of the things that we are working to improve here substantially is the REtoken onboarding experience. And I think that we're probably going to look at having an orientation or onboarding call, potentially even as early as Thursday. I've been overextending myself, so I'm gonna defer that to Mrs. Yonks, but we're wanting, whether we do it here this week or whether we wait until after Thanksgiving, but that's something that we want to increase and make the onboarding experience here at REtoken higher touch, and we think that that's something that we can absolutely incorporate into this ambassador program that we're only barely starting to have some preliminary conversations. That we had an hour-long clubhouse earlier today on that. So that's something that we will be talking about in the coming weeks while we're looking. And that's one of the things that I think, like, this research initiative can incorporate very well into that. And that's something that we spoke about earlier during the working group. But looking at the time, we are down to 20 minutes remaining. We've got we're going to be talking more about this passive income quest here at our community call. And again, at our core team call, I'm going to kick off a temp check in Discord to circulate that to the larger community and defer them back here to this recording if they want to learn more about that. And that's one of the things that this is something that I just want to put out here for everybody, the universe at large. Through the live streams that we are doing, there is quite a bit of content, and I think one of the biggest value propositions of the content is to potentially have some timestamps where people can go to key pieces within those videos. So if there's anybody in the community that wants to enhance our YouTube videos, that's an opportunity. Feel free to reach out to me or Mrs. Yonks via DM, side tangent there. So to bring it back here to the white paper conversation, besides scheduling our next working group for this, and I don't know if we want to do any working groups at all next week, or if we want to just take off Thanksgiving week. I'm hoping to hearing what everybody's thoughts. Definitely going to have the core team call on Sunday. But as far as scheduling our next working group, we could potentially do another one on Saturday. I'm open to that. We had our last working group number 1 for this on Saturday at 3. We had solid participation here as we do tonight, but open to hearing some feedback. I think that that's one decision that I would like to make here tonight.
I think the weekend of Thanksgiving, I might be busy. I might be visiting family. So sometimes we just combine Christmas celebration and Thanksgiving when we're traveling.
I vote we just take the week of Thanksgiving off, at least Monday to Sunday, for anything that's planned and scheduled, because
we can make a decision at our core team call on Sunday if we want to do one the following Sunday. But I would agree. Like, I'm kind of liking the idea of having our third working group for this. One thing that I think that we should do is move forward with a poll, an official poll, and we could let this run through the poll all the way through the core team call on Sunday to make a decision on the light paper versus white paper conversation. So that would give today's Tuesday, that would give almost a full week on an official poll that we could really gauge people's thoughts on the light paper versus white paper. I'm more leaning to the light paper, and then looking at doing that, and also to bring it back, like I really like the idea of doing another white paper like this one, creating equitable, affordable housing. This is something that resonates very deeply with a lot of the people why we're here today, because we all know that this is a huge need and opportunity of what we're tokenizing and the situations that we're wanting to create here at REtoken. So that's the other, let me add that right now. So besides the, so again, how's everybody feeling about Saturday at 3 o'clock?
It will work for me, but I may not be able to speak the whole time. I might be passively listening partially.
Oh yeah, you had a conflict at that time. Would it be a little better if we bumped it to like 5 p.m. Eastern time?
Yeah, that would be better for me personally, but I mean, I could still listen in.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm good with. Well, let's see.
Because I think the earlier time worked better for some of you guys back east, so you have more of your day.
Yeah, because that was actually just something that I was remembering, because that time has been working really good for Tyler and myself. We've been heading up to church in northern Colorado, where we're looking to potentially do a tokenization opportunity. Those are some of the conversations that we're going to be having, because we want to pipeline like with this real estate tokenization process before we work towards tokenizing Tokentown, Colorado. We're wanting to do some smaller projects so that we can say, hey, here's a couple of situations that we've already tokenized. So the 3 p.m. Eastern time frame does work better for Mrs. Yonks and myself.
Yeah, let's just keep it like that then. I'll hop in when I can.
Right on. For Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then we were going to create a poll on Discord to run through core team call on Sunday. Light paper versus white paper. All right. Do we have any other next actions that we need to identify? And let me add this one too, as a, because I don't know if I've got that referenced. Oh, I do have it referenced right here. Let me just add a link to it. And I'll just put a link right here, actually, with some Markdown. This is another reason that I like Trello. This is where I got good at Markdown, was doing some links and stuff like this in Trello. Mrs. Yonks and I have been using Trello for getting all the things done. Slight plug, that's another opportunity that we host on Saturday Clubhouse, 11 a.m. We are going to be on chapter 2 of getting things done, big proponents of that methodology for getting all the things done. And Trello is the tool that we do get things done with here at REtoken, and we use that personally as well. So other next actions, who else do we have anything else that we need to identify here?
I'm not sure if we settled this. Are we brainstorming about questions for the Pick 100, or is that TBD, or where did we leave the next thing on that specific action?
Yeah, and that's TBD. I think that we need to just make a decision, like a binary. Are we going to do this, yes or no? And then like, because go ahead, Michael.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, so I think that we can, and that's actually, I'm going to add that here as the next action too, is create a Discord temp check for the passive income quest in the voting proposals channel. Because again, we execute on that. There will be a decent amount of REtoken distributed like just to put some numbers behind Token Town, Colorado, just our working groups, and still have some additional airdrops to do surrounding Token Town. That was 5,000 REtoken that we distributed for that. And so I don't know what the budget would be. And I think a lot of that will just be kind of a work in progress. And again, we need to decide on if that's going to be something that we have more conversations, and that might be something that we even just do a breakout session on specifically, as far as, you know, developing what that looks like, the passive income quest for the white paper working group, where the, like, maybe a 1 hour mini working group, for example, would be just speaking about developing that. So, because I think that those conversations could scope creep here, because I don't necessarily think that we need to have the anything more than just potentially talking about it in this version 1, you know, where, hey, this is how that we're going to execute, and we're going to reveal our research efforts in a version 2. So that's the awesome thing about this, is that while there are some guidelines, this is our white paper, and we can structure this and communicate this in whatever way that we want, that we feel delivers the underlying message, and most importantly, communicates our intentions and desires as a community on what we're building and creating here.
I think all that sounds great. I like where things are moving, and I totally agree with the possibility of scope creep.
Mrs. Yonks can attest, I am the king of scope creep. Like, everything is scope creep here. And that's like this impact investing table here is scope creep at its finest. So this is a scope creep right here.
Okay, babe, I give you a really hard time about the scope creep, and you're ridiculous, but this is why I married you. And number 2, every idea that you've had since we've been together that I was like, oh my God, that's so stupid, that's never going to work, has been a home run. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. Not a lot of the stuff before we were ever in DAOs. He came up with more stupid ideas that were all home runs, financial home runs, logistical home runs. I cannot believe some of the things that were never ever going to work that were amazing. So that's my little plug for you and your crazy ass ideas from your lovely wife.
Well, Jason, I just want you to know, in some of those clubhouse rooms that I jumped in, your reputation precedes you, and they're all amazed of what great things you're doing in the DAO space. So I just want you to know that.
Well, that's fabulous on hearing that. And I do miss being on Clubhouse. And I think technically today was Amy and Tyler the first. We decided that it makes more sense to lean heavily into REtoken real estate DAO, just from real estate and DAO, and just having that just to really embody, because Teresa and I, we and other people, we still have the real estate tokenization room on Clubhouse, but we really want to lean heavily into REtoken real estate DAO. Because and I updated my Clubhouse bio, like, ask me about DAOs. So I'm super excited. We are all in on DAOs, and we love the model. We love building tokenized Web3 communities, and looking forward to having more conversations on Clubhouse. And that's something that I'm going to add to an agenda standpoint, because especially with this new tool that we have. And I think that I did have some execution challenges. So I don't think that I got the tech in place, but I was using a new tool on my Mac desktop for hosting today's Clubhouse, combined with Restream. And that's technically how that we're executing this live stream tonight, is with Restream. We're hosting the meeting with Zoom, and then one other tool that we are looking to put into place. And this is where we'll, I think, be able to have a more polished, especially with, like, while we're looking at doing our podcast live stream format for guests, OBS. But anyway, that's another conversation. So thank you for the kind words, Amy and Tyler, and looking forward to building something here that we can all be super proud of, but most importantly, have the impact in the change that we are talking about creating, making housing more affordable and more accessible, creating more opportunities for people to invest in real estate through tokenized deals that we're going to be bringing to market. And my Apple Watch timer is going off, which means that we are down to the 5-minute mark. So I'm going to stop talking and let somebody else chime in while we're winding down tonight's working group. Super excited about the direction. Our next one we are going to have, and this is something I'm going to add it right now while other people are chiming in to the Google Calendar. That's one of the easiest ways. I love having the Google Calendar, but I'm going to stop talking and add it.
Hey everybody, is the Google Calendar working for you guys? You're able to subscribe to it? Do you get pop-ups? Is it easy to use? Is it easier than Discord?
It worked for me.
Is anybody having a problem with it in any way that we need to look at, or is it fine?
It's fine.
And that's something that I'm going to add to again, just from a conversational piece, because Discord is rolling out the events. I think that probably most people have seen that popping up here, and my Discord might look slightly different than other people's because there's some additional channels up here, but events. So this is something that I think that we should explore and see what that looks like. And Brian mentioned SourceCred here within this. We mentioned Coordinate. SourceCred is heavily integrated into Discord. So the potential opportunity of using Discord's native functionality. So this is something that we can bring conversation forward. We've already had a slight conversation about Mighty Networks. So just making things, our whole goal here is to make things easy to realize the underlying thing, passive income. If we can create more passive income for everybody with real estate, we're going to win because we all want more passive income, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I really like what
3:00.
you did with the tagline too, Yonks. Like I mean, honestly, if we dropped off before everyone, I think it would still be great. Maybe even.
Well, yeah, let me show you that tweet here. This one is the one that you're talking about here.
Yeah, the Biddle Pat number 2 right there.
Yeah, and that's actually something I think that we can go with the longer tail because we're not really limited for the title, because I really like the inclusion aspects that the For Everyone provides, but the opportunity of just, using all of these within various aspects, because like the opportunity for us to own this, past getting ranked ultimately on passive income from a Google SEO search engine result pages standpoint would be fabulous. So the more that we can have all of these in all of our content, and this is something, again, like, I don't know how many videos that we're up to, but, this may be an opportunity. And I don't know if there's any way to automate in mass, like YouTube description updates, but that's another conversation for another day. So thanks for circling back on that. And this is something that I don't know if we should run a temp check on this as well, but this is something that I feel really good about moving forward, like, and really embracing is like a key tagline within our community. So I'm kind of thinking that we should add this to a next item and really pipeline this for an official proposal, and then just lean heavily into it if it continues to resonate with the community.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Hey everybody, I wanted to make sure that you guys all saw what Rosetta just put in chat about that class. If any of you guys are feeling like you want a little more education on crypto itself, she just posted a virtual class that she can sign you up for if you want to get with her on that.
And just for everybody's benefit, Rosetta, if you can just give like a 30-second of who Piper Moretti is and her relevance in the real estate industry, or you can share it on chat, whatever's easiest.
Okay, I can do that. I'll check, place it in the chat. Yes.
Thanks, Rosetta. All right, so the working group is on working group number 3. We've got on the calendar for Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And I'll be getting the rest of and I'll probably get an email communication out here for people's inboxes Wednesday morning. I don't do a whole lot of email communications, and this is an opportunity that we have for the content team, as we're working on increasing our communication. And then, like we spoke a little bit about MailChimp, I think the opportunity for us to look at getting some more professional marketing tools like MailChimp, because one of the benefits of MailChimp is that it also integrates into meetup.com. And we've already got on our roadmap for a meetup.com strategy. So that's one of the things, again, we've spoke about the ambassadors program can integrate very well. And my timer did go off. We are on the hour. The only thing left that I was going to add to here was the temp check for the Biddle passive income, because I think that that's something that warrants in its own temp check and official voting proposal on Snapshot, just because that's something that we will lean heavily into, and the opportunity of just, having that on some various like Snapshot and Boardroom. And again, this is more opportunity too, because the thing too, and this is just to provide a little backstory, like I was planning on retooling professionally into internet marketing, and did take some college classes, and it's been something that I've been passionate about. So love the marketing conversations. And I see Poopster, he's just popping back into while we're working on winding this down. But we're welcome back, Poopster. We're just bringing some closure here to this, and I'm just adding one more thing to create a Discord temp check for the tagline, Biddle. I can copy and paste because I like to copy and paste. So here we go. All right. Any final thoughts before we call it for a wrap? I feel very good. We always, I think, get a lot done here at our working groups at REtoken, but wanted to let everybody else chime in before we bring it to a close tonight.
I feel like we got a lot done, like a lot of ground covered. Especially as far as like getting everything like almost like mentally organized for the team, and then thoughts down on paper, so we have like a more actionable like checklist that we can proceed off of. Thanks for all the hard work, Yonks.
Well, it would be no fun if I was just talking to myself. So thank you everybody for contributing, because I don't like operating in a vacuum here. And looking forward to our next, we've got our community call coming up, same time, 7 o'clock tomorrow. Well, technically we go live at 7:15. So anybody that's interested, and this is, I don't know if I'll have the bandwidth. I'm going to try to tomorrow to do some testing out with the OBS, and we'll see if I can level up yet again with another tool with OBS for our community call tomorrow. But that's our next biggest event. And then we've got our calendar here. So we don't have a whole lot of stuff, on the calendar, but I'll take it off offline with Mrs. Yonks. Did potentially mention doing a orientation onboarding call, because this is something that we're wanting to, again, work towards and host on a regular basis, just to make it more welcoming for new people, where they can kind of ask questions that they have about the community, and just kind of like point people in the general direction and kind of that. But anyway, super excited. Any other final thoughts? Thanks for that, Michael.
Proud of you, babe. This is an amazing movement. Super excited to be part of it.
Well, and I'll leave it there on the video thumbnail that we created here for that. And I think that are you helping with the POAP tonight, Amy? Are we all set up and ready to use that? I don't know exactly what that process looks like.
I think you need to send me a picture for the one we did this morning and this afternoon, I think. That's
okay,
what I need. And then I can make the POAP.
Do you have the attendee list, Amy, or do you need that?
PR standpoint.
It's on the Google Docs.
Okay. Even the one okay. So all I need to do is cut and paste it from there. Is it in a PNG already? Because that's what the POAP can use, the PNG.
Yeah, on the Trello card, we have this one right here is the PNG for tonight's working group. So I've got the video thumbnail and the PNG. And I don't know if I've got you. Let me add you here real quick to this Trello card, Amy, and you'll get a ping on this one, Amy. And I'll add one of the things I normally do too, just as like some reconciliation, is the people that participated. I normally add those before I move it to the done list over here. And this is too, I'm open, like I've been using Trello for a while, but open for thoughts or feedback as far as other people, as far as how that can potentially use this tool a little better ourselves. But I think it's working well so far. But yeah, thanks for facilitating the POAPs there, Amy. And as mentioned, you will get a REtoken bonus for taking on that action item. And anybody else that is interested in taking on more tasks on various things, feel free to reach out. We've got a good list of opportunities on Trello, but there's probably a lot of stuff that could be done that doesn't even have a Trello card currently. So we're already 5 minutes past the hour. Unless anybody, I'm going to do a countdown 5. I'm going to stop Mike and let anybody else chime in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here.
That's all from me until next time, folks.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You all have a good night. Great working group. Thanks, everybody.